The human brain is the most expensive piece of real estate in the universe. It consumes 20% of your oxygen. It controls every memory you have, every movement you make, and every beat of your heart. It is a biological supercomputer protected by a fortress of bone. But this fortress has a weakness. It has a supply line. Four narrow arteries that travel up your neck, twisting and turning like garden hoses, carrying the fuel that keeps the lights on. And sometimes those hoses get pinched, sometimes they get blocked, and sometimes they tear. Imagine you are sitting in a salon chair. It is a Saturday morning. You are relaxed. You lean your head back into the shampoo bowl. The stylist adjusts your neck to get the right angle. You feel a little pinch, a little stiffness, but you ignore it. It is just a crick in the neck, right? You finish your haircut. You go home. You feel a little dizzy. You decide to take a nap. When you wake up, the world has tilted. You try to sit up, but your left arm feels like it belongs to a mannequin. You try to call for help, but the words coming out of your mouth sound like gibberish. You aren't old. You aren't sick. You are 28 years old. You went to get a haircut, and now you are fighting for your life against a condition called vertebral artery dissection. This is known as beauty parlor syndrome, and it is just one of the many ways a stroke can hide in plain sight. We are taught that strokes happen to grandfathers. We are taught to look for the drooping face. But the landscape of stroke is changing. It is coming for the young. It is coming for the healthy. And it often arrives without the classic signs we see in the movies. It arrives as a sudden migraine. It arrives as uncontrollable hiccups. It arrives as a sudden loss of balance. This is the story of the silent stroke. It is a journey into the delicate plumbing of the human neck and brain. We are going to explore the terrifying math of neuronal death. We are going to look at why cracking your neck might be the most dangerous habit you have. And we are going to give you the advanced protocol, beyond just F.A.S.T. That could save your life or the life of someone you love when the unthinkable happens. If you value your brain and want to protect the very essence of who you are, please hit that subscribe button right now. You need to hear this because when it comes to the brain, time isn't just money. Time is tissue. To understand the danger, we have to understand the design flaw. Most of the blood to your brain comes from the carotid arteries in the front of your neck. You can feel their pulse under your jaw. But there are two other arteries in the back of your neck, the vertebral arteries. These run through the tiny holes in the vertebrae of your spine. They are threaded through the bone like a shoelace. This design offers protection, but it also creates a vulnerability. Because they are threaded through the bone, they are tethered. If you twist your neck too far or too fast, the bone moves, but the artery stretches. If you stretch it too hard, the inner lining of the artery can tear. This is called a dissection. Imagine the artery is like an onion with layers. If the inner layer tears, blood gets underneath it. It creates a flap. As blood flows past, it catches on the flap. It clots. Eventually, that clot breaks free. It travels up the stream. It goes into the skull. It enters the basilar artery, the main highway to the brain stem. The brain stem controls breathing. It controls consciousness. If a clot lodges there, it is catastrophic. This is why beauty parlor syndrome is so terrifying. The simple act of hyperextending the neck over a shampoo bowl for 20 minutes can stretch the artery just enough to cause that tear. But it is not just salons. It is chiropractic adjustments. It is yoga. It is painting a ceiling. It is cracking your own neck because it feels stiff. That stiffness you feel, it might not be a muscle knot. It might be the artery wall swelling from a tear you already made. If you crack it again to relieve the pressure, you might send the clot flying. The first lesson of stroke prevention is neck awareness. Your neck is not a toy. It is a lifeline. If you feel a sudden, sharp pain in the side of your neck that travels up the back of your head, do not massage it. Do not crack it. Go to the ER. That specific pain pattern is the hallmark of a dissection. But let us talk about the strokes that happen without any trauma, the strokes that hide behind the mask of a headache. We all get headaches, stress headaches, sinus headaches, but there is a specific type of headache that carries a death sentence if ignored. Doctors call it the thunderclap headache. Patients describe it as being hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat. It is 0 to 10 pain in seconds. This is usually not a clot. This is a bleed, a hemorrhagic stroke. An aneurysm, a weak balloon in the blood vessel wall, has popped. Blood is spilling into the space around the brain. This blood is toxic to brain cells. It increases the pressure inside the skull. The tragedy is that many people take 2 ibuprofen and go to lie down in a dark room. They think it is just a bad migraine. They go to sleep, and they never wake up. How do you tell the difference? A migraine usually builds up. You get an aura. You get light sensitivity. It throbs. A thunderclap headache is instantaneous. It is the worst pain of your life, arriving out of nowhere. If you ever experience a headache that reaches maximum intensity in less than 60 seconds, do not go to bed. Call 911. Now we have to discuss the most insidious trick the brain plays on us. The transient ischemic attack, the TIA. Imagine you are having dinner. You lift your fork. Suddenly, your hand goes weak. The fork drops. You try to pick it up, but your fingers feel clumsy. You feel confused. You try to speak, and the words come out thick. Your family looks at you with worry. But then 2 minutes later, it stops. The feeling comes back. Your speech clears. You pick up the fork. You laugh it off. You say, "Wow, that was weird. Must be low blood sugar. Must be exhaustion." You finish your meal. You have just ignored a winning lottery ticket from the Reaper. A TIA is a mini stroke. It means a clot lodged in a vessel, stopped the blood flow, but then dissolved or moved on its own before permanent damage occurred. It is a warning shot. Statistics show that a massive percentage of people who have a major debilitating stroke had a TIA within the 48 hours prior. Their body warned them. The plumbing was testing a clog. If you experience sudden weakness, numbness, or blindness in one eye, even if it lasts for only 30 seconds, you are in the danger zone. You need to be scanned immediately. Your arteries are shouting at you. Let us move to the silent symptoms that do not look like strokes at all. We are trained to look for the drooping face and the slurred speech. But what if the stroke is in the cerebellum? The cerebellum controls balance and coordination. A stroke here does not make you paralyzed. It makes you dizzy. It causes vertigo. Suddenly the room starts spinning. You feel nauseous. You vomit. You cannot walk in a straight line. What does this look like? It looks like the flu. It looks like an ear infection. It looks like you are drunk. Young people are sent home from the ER with a diagnosis of vertigo or viral labyrinthitis all the time, when in reality, a part of their brain is dying. How do you differentiate? The HINTS exam. It is a specific eye movement test doctors do. But for you at home, the red flag is the inability to walk. If you are so dizzy you physically cannot stand without holding onto a wall, or if the dizziness comes with a headache or double vision, assume it is a stroke until proven otherwise. And then there are the hiccups, intractable hiccups, hiccups that will not stop. This can be a sign of a stroke in the brain stem, specifically the medulla, which controls the hiccup reflex. If you have sudden, violent hiccups combined with chest pain or numbness, it is not because you ate your lunch too fast. It is a neurological misfire. Now that we know what to look for, we have to talk about the cost of ignoring it. Why is speed so important? The brain is a fuel hog. It stores no energy. It relies on a second-by-second delivery of oxygen and glucose. When that delivery stops, the cells do not just go to sleep. They panic. The sodium-potassium pumps fail. Water rushes into the cell. The cell swells and bursts. It is a microscopic explosion. Neurologists have a saying, time is brain. For every minute a stroke goes untreated, the average patient loses 1.9 million neurons. They lose 14 billion synapses. They lose 7 miles of myelinated fibers. 1 minute, 2 million brain cells. If you wait an hour to see if you feel better, you have lost 120 million neurons. That is the equivalent of aging your brain by 3.6 years. If you wait too long, you miss the window for the miracle drugs. We have a drug called TPA. It is a clot buster. It dissolves the blockage, but it can usually only be given within a 3 to 4 hour window from the start of symptoms. If you arrive at hour 5, the risk of bleeding outweighs the benefit. You have missed the boat. We also have a procedure called a thrombectomy. This is science fiction come to life. Doctors thread a catheter up through the artery in your groin, all the way up to your brain, and physically grab the clot with a tiny wire cage and pull it out. It is like plumbing for the brain. It can reverse paralysis on the table, but again, it has a time limit. This brings us to the most important question. Why are strokes rising in young people? We used to think arteries hardened over decades of smoking and bad food. That is still true, but the modern world has introduced new risks. One is the rise of autoimmune inflammation. Lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and even long COVID can cause inflammation in the blood vessels, vasculitis, making them sticky and prone to clots. Another is the use of substances. Vaping and heavy nicotine constrict blood vessels. High estrogen birth control pills can slightly increase clotting risk, especially in women who smoke or have migraines with aura. And then there is the stress. Chronic, unyielding stress keeps your blood pressure high. It keeps your cortisol high. It creates a turbulence in your bloodstream that eventually scuffs the lining of your arteries, creating a place for plaque to build. So how do we protect ourselves? How do we build a stroke-proof life? The first step is knowing your numbers. High blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason. You cannot feel it. You could be walking around with a pressure of 180 over 100 right now and feel fine. But your arteries are under siege. Buy a cuff. Check it at home. If it is consistently high, fix it. Fix it with diet, fix it with exercise, or fix it with medication. Do not let your pride stop you from taking a pill that could save your brain. The second step is hydration. Your blood is mostly water. When you are dehydrated, your blood turns to syrup. It gets thick. It clots easier. In the winter or after a long flight, stroke risk goes up simply because people are dried out. Drink the water. Keep the river flowing. The third step is atrial fibrillation awareness. This is an irregular heartbeat. It causes blood to pool in the heart, form a clot, and then shoot that clot to the brain. Many people have it and do not know it. If you ever feel your heart fluttering like a fish in a bag or racing for no reason, get it checked. A simple blood thinner can neutralize this risk almost entirely. The fourth step is the F.A.S.T protocol. We all know F.A.S.T, face, arms, speech, time. But the new standard is F.A.S.T. B is for balance, sudden loss of balance or coordination. E is for eyes, sudden loss of vision in one or both eyes or double vision. F is for face, drooping on one side. A is for arms, weakness in one arm or leg. S is for speech, slurred or strange speech. T is for time. Call 911 immediately. Do not drive yourself to the hospital. This is a critical error people make. They think they are saving time. They are not. When you call 911, the paramedics can start treatment in the ambulance. They can call ahead to the hospital. They trigger a code stroke. The hospital clears the CT scanner. The neurology team is waiting at the door. If you drive yourself, you walk into the triage line. You sit in the waiting room. You fill out paperwork. You lose millions of neurons while waiting for the receptionist to call your name. Never drive yourself during a stroke. There is also an emotional component to ignoring a stroke. It is called denial. The brain, when it is injured, often tries to protect the ego. It tells you that you are fine. It tells you that you are just tired. There is a phenomenon called anosognosia. It means lack of insight. A person having a stroke in the right hemisphere of the brain might be paralyzed on their left side, but if you ask them to lift their left arm, they will say they did it. Their brain is lying to them. They genuinely believe they are moving, even though they are not. This is why you cannot trust your own assessment during a medical crisis. You have to trust the people around you. If your wife, your husband, or your friend tells you that your face looks funny or your speech sounds weird, believe them. Do not argue. Do not go to the bathroom to check the mirror. Just go. The recovery from a stroke is possible, but it is brutal. It involves relearning how to walk, relearning how to swallow, relearning how to speak. The brain has neuroplasticity. It can rewire itself, but it takes years of grueling therapy. The best way to handle a stroke is to never have one, but the second best way is to catch it the moment it starts. The culture of toughness, of walking it off, of ignoring the pain, is deadly when it comes to the brain. There is no glory in toughing out a blood clot. We need to change the conversation. We need to stop thinking of health as the absence of pain and start thinking of it as the maintenance of a high-performance machine. You would not drive your car if the oil light was flashing. You would not ignore smoke coming from the engine. Your body gives you signals, the sudden dizziness, the fleeting numbness, the thunderclap headache. These are the flashing lights. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember the story of the neck crack. Remember that something as simple as a salon visit or a yoga pose can change your life if you ignore the warning signs that follow. Your arteries are resilient, but they are not invincible. Treat your neck with care. Treat your blood pressure with respect. And treat every sudden, unexplained neurological symptom as a fire alarm. The life you save might be your own, and the person who thanks you will be the future version of yourself, the one who still has their memories, their mobility, and their voice. We are living in an age of medical miracles. We can pull clots out of brains. We can dissolve blockages with enzymes. But we can only do these things if you show up. We can only save the brain that is brought to us. Do not be the person who went to bed with a migraine and never woke up. Be the person who made the call. I want to know in the comments below, have you ever experienced a sudden symptom like this that scared you? Did you go to the doctor or did you sleep it off? Let us start a conversation about the close calls. If this video opened your eyes to the silent dangers hiding in your own body, please hit that like button. It helps us spread this life-saving information to the people who need it most. And subscribe. We are going to continue exploring the hidden mechanics of human health, exposing the myths, and giving you the owner's manual for your own biology. Stay safe, watch your neck, and listen to your body. It is always talking to you.